least 7 people have been killed after a drone hit a bus in the Russian-controlled Donetsk region of Ukraine as both sides escalate attacks. The Russian-installed head of the region, Denis Pushilin, said on the Telegram messaging platform on Wednesday that the bus was travelling between Moscow and Simferopol in Crimea.
Brazil midfielder Casemiro believes being a step behind other World Cup 2026 favourites Flute could work in the team's favour when the tournament kicks off in North America next week. Brazil are the only team to have played in every World Cup and are also the tournament's most decorated side with 5 titles.
US broadcaster CBS has fired Scott Pelley, a longtime correspondent for its 60 Minutes programme, after he reportedly said editor-in-chief Barry Weiss was murdering the show and accused its new producer of having slender qualifications for the job. The firing on Tuesday deepened the turmoil at the most influential TV news programme in the US, days after a leadership overhaul.
Muhammad Ali's legacy extends far beyond his world titles and Olympic gold, his widow has said, as his hometown prepares to mark 10 years since the boxing icon Day of Compassion. Ali, who died on June 3, 2016, after a long battle with Parkinson's disease, is being honoured this week at the Muhammad Ali Centre in Louisville, which is encouraging people worldwide to mark Wednesday's anniversary with acts of service and care.
Italy will provide employment opportunities to 10,500 Pakistani workers over the next 3 years under a labour mobility agreement. Italy's ambassador to Pakistan, Marilina Armelian, announced during celebrations marking Italy Day in Islamabad. Speaking at the event on Tuesday, the ambassador reaffirmed Italy's commitment to strengthening cooperation with Pakistan in areas including labour mobility, education, diplomacy and economic engagement.
Former Pakistan fast bowler Junaid Khan has criticised the team's approach after their defeat in the second ODI against Australia at the Gaddafi Stadium, saying the batting unit struggled on spin-friendly conditions that were originally prepared to trouble the visitors. Junaid shared his views on social media platform X, where he suggested that Pakistan's plan to prepare a turning wicket to challenge Australia ended up backfiring. ASUS has unveiled the VivaWatch 6 Plus at Computex 2026 as part of its wider push into AI-powered healthcare. The smartwatch sits alongside the handheld ultrasound duo scan and connects with the ASUS AI Agent healthcare platform. The VivaWatch 6 Plus has a 1.43-inch AMOLED display, up from the 1.39-inch screen on the VivaWatch 6. The display uses sapphire crystal glass, while the case is made of titanium alloy for a lighter, more durable build.
A new federal government commissioned survey has found that nearly half of Canadians believe the country is admitting too many immigrants, although public concern appears to have eased compared to last year. According to the survey, 47% of respondents said Canada is bringing in too many immigrants, while 38% said the current intake is about the right amount.
Gulf hostilities flared again on Wednesday, with a missile attack damaging Kuwait's airport and the US military carrying out strikes near the Strait of Hormuz, as diplomacy between Washington and Tehran showed little progress. The latest flare-up, which sent oil prices up more than 1%, comes with the conflict stalemated in a shaky ceasefire and the Strait of Hormuz largely closed, more than 3 months after initial US and Israeli strikes on Iran.
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif on Wednesday said that the government was taking measures to bring the informal economy into the tax net in the upcoming budget. The Prime Minister's office, PMO, said the Premier made the declaration during a meeting with a delegation of renowned businessmen and industrialists, where he exchanged views with them on the pace of the country's economic growth and consulted with them over the upcoming budget.
While drought expands through Cunin as the spectre of El Nino climate instability approaches, one fear has seized this indigenous Guatemalan village: death from hunger. The rains still haven't come here, where local farmers fear the lack of water could ruin the subsistence crops on which they depend to survive. Russia said it downed hundreds of drones over its territory, including about 60 over the Leningrad region Tuesday night, in a Ukrainian attack as a major economic forum gets underway. St. Petersburg Governor Alexander Beglov said 3 districts were targeted as part of an overnight Ukrainian drone assault that wounded several people and damaged infrastructure facilities.
The Supreme Court, SC, has announced a summer vacation arrangement for 2026, under which judges will spend more time hearing cases at the court's principal seat in Islamabad to help improve judicial efficiency and accelerate the disposal of pending cases. According to a statement issued by the Supreme Court's Public Relations Department, the decision was made after consultations among judges at the request of the Chief Justice of Pakistan.
Federal Minister for Communications Abdul Aleem Khan has approved the construction of a new motorway via Mansehra, Kaghan, Naran, Jalakand Highway KKH. The approval was granted during a meeting of the National Highway Authority, NHA, which reviewed ongoing and proposed infrastructure projects. Communications Secretary and NHA Chairman retired Capt. Asadullah Khan also attended the meeting. In the face of austerity measures calling for shopping malls and the cinemas they house to close early, actor Fahad Mustafa has requested the government of Punjab theatres to give people time to watch films. In an open letter to the province's senior minister, Mariam Aurangzeb, the actor contended that many moviegoers are busy with other things earlier in the day, so some audiences were only able to attend screenings later in the evenings. Pope Leo heads to Spain on Saturday for a week-long tour, his first visit to a European Union EU country outside Italy, which will culminate with the pontiff meeting migrants in the Canary Islands who braved dangerous Atlantic waters to enter Europe. Leo, who drew the ire of US President Donald Trump after criticizing his anti-immigration policies, is expected to attract large crowds on the June 6 to 12 visit and will also be the first pope to address the Spanish Parliament.
Idris Elba and Meera Syal were among a number of British stars to receive honours from King Charles at Windsor Castle on Tuesday. Elba was knighted for services to young people. Syal, the actor and comedian known for the Kumars at No 42, was recognised for her services to literature, drama and charity.
7 people have been killed and 11 others injured in a drone attack on a passenger bus travelling through a Russia-controlled part of Ukraine. An official said Denis Pushilin, the Kremlin-installed leader of Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region, said the bus was hit in the early hours of Wednesday as it was travelling between Moscow and Simferopol, Russian-occupied Crimea.
As the US-Israel war on Iran entered its 96th day, the conflict widened across the Gulf region, with both sides reporting new military actions. The United States military said on Wednesday it carried out self-defense strikes on Iran's Qeshm Island, while Iranian media reported explosions in the area.
Japan's stock market has hit an all-time high as a global buying frenzy driven by AI shows no signs of slowing down. The Nikkei 225 rose nearly 3% on Wednesday, lifting the benchmark index above 68,000 for the first time. Lionel Messi trained on his own during Argentina's first practice session at their base camp in the United States, where the squad has assembled for their World Cup preparations this week. The defending World Cup champions held their first pre-tournament training in Kansas City on Monday.
The US Trade Representative has proposed new duties targeting 60 economies, including Pakistan and India, for alleged failures to act against forced labor. as the Trump administration seeks to rebuild its tariff agenda following legal setbacks. The proposed tariffs range from 10% to 12.5 PC, according to a government filing, and they will undergo a public comment period before a final decision is made.
Rebecca Bennett has won a high-stakes Democratic Party primary in the U.S. state of New Jersey, setting up a contest against Republican Tom Keene Jr., backed by President Donald Trump for one of the most competitive seats in the upcoming midterm elections. Bennett, a former U.S. Navy helicopter pilot, defeated 3 Democratic rivals in New Jersey's 7th congressional district, securing about 47.2% results on Tuesday, according to projected results on Tuesday.
As the government prepares the budget for FY27, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's meeting with the country's leading businessmen on Monday offered a glimpse of the wide gap that exists between the two sides' perception of Pakistan's economic recovery. While the businessmen pressed their case for tax relief, faster refunds and deeper economic reforms, Mr. Sharif boasted of the stability his government had pulled off and his intention of converting recovery into growth. The government's narrative is simple. After saving Pakistan from a likely sovereign default, restoring macroeconomic stability, reducing inflation and complying with the IMF programme, officialdom believes the foundation for sustained recovery has been laid. PM Sharif argued that the next phase would focus on growth. He did not say when. But the businessman's proposals suggest that much of the private sector is unconvinced that the investment climate has improved.
White, the tail that is wagging the dog, aptly describes the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. The reality is that America is fighting Israel's war. The Zionist state not only acts as a spoiler, but also effectively dictates the terms of war and peace in the region. A recent example of this is Israel's military escalation in Lebanon, which has not only complicated diplomatic efforts to resolve the US-Iran conflict, but has also broadened the theater of war. Despite President Donald Trump's claims of having halted the conflict, the war continues. Israeli forces have occupied a significant portion of Lebanon, and relentless bombings have devastated Beirut, effectively undermining the US-brokered ceasefire. Funding and regular funding is what Pakistani women athletes say they need most to compete internationally. Talent alone, they point out, cannot take them to the world stage. It must be backed by quality equipment, top-notch coaching, proper training facilities, nutrition, and the means to travel and compete. For most athletes, both male and female, except those supported by the departmental sports system, such as the Pakistan Army, WAPDA, the Higher Education Commission, National Bank, Pakistan Railways, police and airlines, the struggle begins long before competition day, finding the resources simply to stay in the game. State patronage is limited, private sponsorship even scarcer, and for women, almost non-existent.
A Tunisian court has handed down sentences ranging from 10 years to life against opposition leader Rached Ghannouchi and dozens of other defendants in the so-called secret apparatus case involving the Ennahda party. The Tunis Court of First Instance on Tuesday sentenced Ghannouchi, the leader of Ennahda and a former parliamentary speaker, to life in prison plus 30 years on terrorism-related charges, to life in prison, 30 years official news agency. Tunisia's official freak press, Tunisia's
The Balochistan National Party, BNP Mengal, on Tuesday condemned an alleged raid on the home of a senior party leader and their subsequent detention and demanded their immediate release. During a press conference, BNP Mengal senior vice president advocate Sajid Tareen alleged that following a clash between security forces and armed elements in the Bulbul area of Zehri, personnel entered the residence of Sardar Nasir Ahmed Muziani.
Islamabad. The Supreme Court has upheld a sentence awarded to a child rapist and a murderer, ruling that individuals who voluntarily become intoxicated cannot claim exemption from criminal liability. Intoxication caused by one's own negligence or recklessness does not excuse the offence, affirmed Justice Muhammad Hashim Khan Kakar in a 3-page verdict he authored.